I wanted to share my processing of some wild foods this fall of 2019 here in Wisconsin. Hunting season's coming up. Looking forward to that. But right now it is mushroom season and also hazelnuts. So I wanted to show you what I got going on here as I'm trying to figure out the best way to dehydrate mushrooms and work on some of these wild foods so that I can continue to eat them throughout the year without having a dehydrator and or doing it in mass and not having a lot of sun because we're tucked in the woods. And so here I am. I got these screens and I have this fan, blowing the fan over top of the mushrooms. And what I got here is a combination of chanterelles and hedgehog mushrooms, and I'll show you these here in a moment. Those are dried out really well. I tried to dry out the mushrooms first in the oven, and it didn't quite work because they just like sat in the liquid on the tray. That you know, mushrooms are heavy liquid content, and so it just kind of sat in the liquid on the tray that they were in, that was in the oven. So instead, hopefully I'll find more success. These dry ones, I think they'll dry out really well at about 170 degrees, which I think a lot of ovens get down to that to finish them up. Hazelnuts, process these by hand or not. Hopefully I have some friends bringing a hazelnut and acorn cracker. Break these out, hit them with a stone, hammer, just a walnut or typical nut cracker. That'll get that done. This is the first year playing with that, so we'll see how that goes. This is actually artist conch going there. That's this mushroom. Now I'll just run through these. During when you first pick this, you can draw on the bottom of it, but as it ages, you know, it loses that ability. We have an array of mushrooms here that I wanted to show. This is a chanterelle that I just picked today, and this is maybe a more common size chanterelle. This one's huge. Just wanted to show that. Really easy identification on the chanterelle if you've not seen it before. The false gills run up the stem, into the stem. They're forked. Hopefully you can see that. If not, Google a picture. And they're forked, unlike the jack-o'-lantern, which is very deep set. And jack-o'-lantern is also oftentimes very large, maybe something like this, but orange and blackish on top. We have bear's head tooth, similar to lion's mane. Would have grew on the tree like this here, sitting in that direction. Medicinal, edible, really choice. All these are going to be really choice. These are black trumpets. Black, hard to find. This is some of my first findings of these. And then some small ones here that I'll bring up. So, hedgehog, you can see the coloration, but then there's the spikes on the bottom side of the mushroom instead of gills. You got those spikes. Really hard to misidentify that one. Similar to the chanterelle is the ignicolor chanterelle. False gills run up into the stem, but it has a signature hole in the center. And these grow in clumps, as chanterelles will often grow more individually. And what I'm excited to play with here, I just figured out in the last few days, is the resinous polypore. Looks like this. It's really kind of like spongy. A lot of polypores are hard. This one's soft. Been told that if you stew it, then rather than like sauteing it, that you'll find a better mushroom. But what I'm doing here is I'm actually drying out all these mushrooms and cutting them up thinly to blend them, to then make it to a powder to then add to stews. So because personally I don't like dehydrated mushrooms as much as I like fresh mushrooms. So there's that, and I want to get the mushrooms into my diet as often as possible, so I can sneak those into very easily into a stew, into a broth, into a soup, and Alexis and Charlotte will get those nutrients too, in which they don't prefer that sponginess that some people are deterred by when it comes to mushrooms. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and these are the mushroom powders. Very fine sometimes, you can see. This is all oyster. And this takes a lot of oyster mushrooms to make that much powder, so it's pretty concentrated, like a lot of oyster mushrooms, mini trays. This is probably equal to the amount of chanterelles you see on the on this here. It's very little amount, and so it's very concentrated. This is that first batch that I did all in the oven, or primarily in the oven. So it's a little bit darker. It smells like a little more cooked, but I think it'll fall into the same thing. It'll just really enhance the soups, if not for taste, because it's pretty. I think it'll blend very easily for the nutrients from wild edibles. Okay, wanted to show these things simply because I'm a little bit proud of them. Because look, we can get out here, we can get wild foods, and we can try to figure out how to incorporate them into our daily lives.